Dana, I want you to look at this. This is what the IDF put out the other day from Sunday, that hostage rescue in southern Gaza. Jimmy, come on over here and I'll show you. You can barely see that because it happened in the middle of the night, all right? These are the two men who are now free, all right, with their wives. But at 2 o'clock in the morning, the IDF had a tip on this house in southern Gaza, right? Okay, the hostages are here. They had Hamas guards that were taken out. IDF blows the door out. They make their move, and they then extract them from Rafa, which right now has upwards of 1 million people in it. And the Israelis have a big decision to make as to how they execute this war right now through this southern town right on the border of Egypt. They were evacuated to the medical center in Tel Aviv. This man is age 60, he is age 70, and they are now home. Wow. And now we have this video from the IDF, and this is something else, okay? This is in a tunnel somewhere in Gaza. Maybe it's in the Rafa area. That man in red is Yahya Sinwar. He's age 61. He is the leader of Hamas. He's believed to be the mastermind of the attack on October 7th. General Jack Keane's with me now. And General, good morning to you. My sense is they're close. I don't know if it's a day from now, maybe it's a month from now when they finally get Sinwar. But when they do, that would be the equivalent for the Israelis for the Americans getting Osama bin Laden. General, how close are they?
Well, we don't know. And that's just the reality of it. Obviously, they had very good intelligence to be able to rescue our hostages in that very daring raid that you've been able to visualize for our viewers. But Sinwar, look at that video you just showed. I mean, appreciate the sinister and diabolical nature of this. There's Sinwar, the leader of Hamas, with his wife and family being protected by this tunnel complex, when he exposes all of the Hamas's women and children to the war that's taking place above those tunnels. There are no bomb shelters. There are no tunnels for the citizens of Gaza. And he wants that exposure because he knows he'll get international condemnation of Israel as a result of the people being caught up in a war. That is how cynical and diabolical this man is. And hopefully the Israelis get to him soonest.
I guess it's a question of time. I don't think he's going to get across that border into Egypt, but we'll see whether or not that is the outcome. Meanwhile, you've got the meeting at the White House yesterday with the leader from Jordan. And apparently Benjamin Netanyahu was given yet another warning by Joe Biden as to that too many civilians are being killed in Gaza. And here is John Kirby being asked about that yesterday at the White House.
We're going to keep working with our Israeli counterparts to do everything we can to get them to reduce the number of civilian casualties. And they have been receptive. I understand that there are still civilian casualties, and that's unacceptable. But they have been receptive to our messaging. They have been receptive to our ideas and our perspectives in the past.
Yeah, how do you see that, General?
Well, I think the tension between the White House and certainly Prime Minister Netanyahu has been increasing over this issue, and now it's full-on public display. I mean, obviously the catalyst was the visit from the Jordanian king. But the reality here is that the Israelis, when they went into northern Gaza, they told the people to evacuate on a route that they identified for them, to get as many of them out of the way as possible. When they went into the southern part of Gaza, particularly Khan Yunis, where they still are, they designated areas on a map for them to move to, obviously identifying to Hamas where the next fight was going to take place. And now they've got a huge problem. And you're absolutely right, Bill. I mean, we have a community of Rafa, which normally is several 100,000. There's over 1 million people there now seeking shelter in tents, homemade places to live. There's huge humanitarian crisis. If there was no war, there would be a major crisis there because of food, water, and hygiene. What the Israelis are trying to do is work a deal with the Egyptians to put up tents in the southwestern part of the Rafa area in Gaza along the coast to get many of these people out of here. But we are facing a very consequential part of the war. The civilians are obviously a major issue here, but also the fact is about 1/3 of Hamas fighters are still alive. Most of Hamas principal leaders, as you've identified here, Sinwar, are still alive. And there's still 100+ hostages that are yet to be released, despite the daring rescue that just took place in the last several days. So much of the challenge that Israel is facing, frankly, is still in front of them. And this is going to take some deliberate moves on their part.
I apologize for interrupting you there. Consequential indeed. These negotiations could result in tent cities holding 25,000 people each all over the southern area of Gaza, and we'll see whether or not they get an agreement like that and what it looks like. General, thank you. More to come. Jack Keane, thanks for coming on today.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.